Hey, what's up, everybody? Shane with Battlefield Decks and Patios, and today we're going to talk about how much a deck costs. Now, before we get into that, you kind of need to know that asking how much a deck costs is kind of like asking like how much a car costs or how much a pair of shoe costs, right? Like those things can vary in price greatly depending on brand name, the quality of the materials, the products, all that kind of stuff. And so when you're looking at getting a price for a deck, you need to keep in mind that depending on what it is that you want, that price can range anywhere from $5,000 all the way up to $100,000. So today what we're going to do is we're going to kind of help you hear through the noise, figure out how to get an accurate price every time. And that way you can make sure that you get the best price that you can possibly get on the deck that you want. All right, so before we get into it, let's talk about the three things that you need to do in order to get accurate pricing from multiple sources. The first thing that I would say that you need to do that's really important is decide whether you want a wood or a composite deck. Now, just those two factors alone can change the price in your job by almost triple or even quadruple what the price is. A wood deck is going to be far cheaper than a composite deck, but there's going to be trade-offs with both. So you got to think with a wood deck, you're going to get a cheaper price, but with that is going to come maintenance every few years that you have to do. You're going to have the deck power washed or sanded and then stained with preferably an oil-based stain. Never use water-based on it. With a composite deck, it's going to be a lot more expensive, but you're going to have little, if any, maintenance to do. In fact, with composite decks, one of the things that people love about them is really you can just get out there with a bucket of warm water and some dish soap in it and, kind of mop things and wipe things down and hose it off with the hose and you're good to go. So there's not a lot of maintenance that needs to be done on composite decks. So the way I always tell people to look at it is like this. If you want to save money and you're not going to be in the house for a long time, go with the wood deck. Chances are you're probably only going to maybe maintain it one time before you move out and sell the house. However, composite is going to cost you more upfront, but if this is your forever home, you're not going to have to maintain this thing as much. And so really the price that you pay on the front end actually ends up paying for itself in the long run with you not having to get out there and get the thing power washed and stained every 3 years just to keep it nice so it doesn't fall apart and look like garbage on you. Two, the second thing that you need to do is decide what size of deck that you want. A lot of times people are not sure on what size they want. They just they look at the back of their house and they go, hey, I want a deck there. And it's like, well, okay. Depending on the size you get, that can double, quadruple the price as well. If you go from a 10 by 10 deck to a 10 by 20 deck, that's double the price right there. So I always tell people a good way to figure out what size deck that you want is kind of decide what it is you want to do with the deck. Do you want it to be a place that you're just going to have, dinner and maybe have a place for a grill for a family of two or four? Or do you have a large family and you want to be able to host and have parties and have a bunch of people over and hang out on it? If the first one, you're just a small family and you really don't plan on having a lot of people hanging out on it, sometimes a 10 by 12 deck is more than you need to be able to put a table and a grill on it and be able to just go out in the back of your yard and enjoy yourself out there. But if you're looking to host people and have parties and have multiple sitting areas and maybe a grill or a bar area or something like that, you're going to want a much larger deck. So those are good things to kind of think through, hey, do I want wooden composite? And then what size deck do I want? And how are we going to utilize that deck? Whatever you decide on how you're going to utilize that deck is going to help you figure out the size that you need to make sure that you love it when you're finished with it. And then I would say point 3 is this. What upgrades and other accessories do you want to add to a deck? Those are the things that usually can start to increase the price of the deck greatly as well. So when I talk about upgrades and accessories, having stairs would be considered an upgrade to a deck, right? Not everybody that wants a deck or needs a deck has to have stairs, right? Some people live in townhouses where you actually don't have the ability to fit staircases in, and maybe you don't plan on going down to the yard at all. Or maybe your deck is really low to the ground, so when you walk out, you don't really need a set of stairs. You just need one step to get off the deck into the yard. So adding stairs to a deck can greatly increase the price. It's one of the things on a deck that actually most people are surprised on how much price it adds to the cost of the job. Another thing that we see that's really popular is a lot of times people want to add things like post cap lights. So wherever the posts are for the railings, we'll have LED lights on those to kind of light up and put nice ambiance on the deck at nighttime. Super cool feature to have. You could also put lighting in the floor of the deck. So there's all sorts of accessories and things like that you can do that start driving the price up. So I would say if you do those three things, you decide what is it you want to build out of, wood or composite, what size you want, how you're going to utilize it to, host small groups of people or large groups of people, and then decide, do you want any other accessories or anything added to the deck that would make it even more enjoyable. Once you kind of hone those things in, I always recommend that people write those things down, maybe even rough sketch out a 2D layout of what it is that you like so that when you start to reach out and contact other contractors, you already have a really good idea of what is it you want. So you're not depending on them to kind of drive you into buying something that you don't want. You already kind of have your mind made up. Hey, like this is what we need. This is what we want. This is what I want you to price out. And when you've done that, it makes it a lot easier when you're working with other contractors getting pricing to hear through the noise of the accuracy and pricing. There's a lot of contractors out there that will take your whole pricing and lump it into one number. And it's not clear, like, well, how much am I paying for the deck? How much am I paying for the stairs? How much are these extra accessories that I've added to the deck? And so when you're comparing that to other quotes, it can get really convoluted and just kind of confusing on why one price is so much more than another. So I always tell people to make sure that when you're dealing with somebody to get price, ask for things to be line items so that you can have itemized pricing and clearly see what those upgrades are. So when you are looking at other bids, you're comparing apples to apples, not oranges to bananas. All right, so that's it. Those are the three things that I would recommend that you do when you're looking to get a price for a deck. It will make the process so much smoother, less headaches. It'll have everybody kind of on the same page so that when you're looking at pricing, you can really kind of compare numbers well and know that everybody has actually bid out the exact same project. Now, if you'd like it to be even easier than that, fortunately, here at Battlefield Decks and Patios, we've done something really awesome, and that is we've spent a lot of time designing a project calculator that helps you do just that. If you go to the link below here in this video, you can go to our project calculator and you can enter in the dimensions of the deck you want. We have good, better, and best options. You can add stairs to it. You can add some accessories and stuff, and we'll send that proposal to you in seconds. It's a really cool feature, a really, really good tool for people to use to get pricing quickly and right away and see, hey, is what I want actually falling in the budget of what I've kind of thought that I want to spend in it? Or maybe not. Maybe it's cheaper or maybe it's a lot more expensive. But at very least, you'll have a really good idea of, hey, here's a roadmap to success for your job. This is what it's going to cost. And give us a call and we'll get it done right away. All right, everybody. So that's it. If this has been helpful for you, please hit that like and subscribe button and stick around for our next video where we talk about how long it actually takes to build a deck. We're going to break down from the time that you get a proposal to the permitting process all the way to the job completion. So see you there.